going today? So
Great. Going
Fantastic.
great.
awesome. We have Brian Ernst here, Bree Phillips, and Michelle Rinaldi. Thank you guys for joining me and sharing your knowledge with everybody. Um, Michelle, would you like to start us off with telling us about yourself and how you got to where you are?
Sure. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name's Michelle Rinaldi. I am a real estate agent in South Florida. I specialize in oceanfront condos. So I decided that condos were my niche, and that is where I do, I would say, 95% of my business. I've been with EXP. I'm in my third year now. And I've been a realtor for 8 years. Yep, 8 years. I started when I relocated from Canada to South Florida, but I'm originally from New York.
Awesome, thank you. And then when did you hit Icon right away?
I in my second year.
Wow, congratulations. All right, Brian, tell us about yourself.
Well, thanks for having me. My name is Brian Ernst. I run a real estate business out of Aurora, Illinois. I'm currently located in Las Vegas, Nevada. Been out here for 4 months and 4.5 months, got trapped out here. I have been in real estate for 17 years. I've closed well over 1,000 deals in my career. And I'm just grateful and honored to be up here with all you guys. So thank you.
All right, and Bree.
All right, good morning from Astoria, Oregon. My name is Bree Phillips, and I have a small real estate team. It's myself and 3 other licensees, and we have an admin staff. Live in a small community, about 10,000 in our town, 35,000 in our county, and let's see, our team is a little Navy SEALs team. We do, last year we did 165 transactions for about 15% of our market. And this year we're on track to do the same. This is going into our second year of EXP. Previously we were with REMAX. And yeah, just happy to be here today to share, to see if there's any little nuggets of information you guys can take away.
Great. So that's a great segue right there too. Is you have a couple admins and you have a decent sized team. I'm going to stick with you, Bree, and work our way backwards on this. What do you delegate, and how do you decide to delegate?
Okay, sure. So as it relates to my team members or just the admin staff?
I would say that most agents that aren't to where you are will struggle letting go. So, who was your first hire, and what responsibilities did you give them, and now how does that look?
Okay, sure. So on our team, the way that it is structured is we have a business manager that is in the office 40 hours a week, and her name is Mallory, and Mallory manages all of our transactions and the day-to-day operations of the team. So basically, she is like an administrative assistant to all 4 of us on the sales team. So the sales team's job is to follow up on leads and set appointments. And once the deal goes into a pending status, Mallory takes it from there. Now, she is not licensed. She is an unlicensed assistant, if you will. So her job is to open escrow and manage the timelines of the transaction. And that is, tough in some regards to give up in the beginning, but as long as you have checklists in place and a good training program, it can really be a game changer. And I can tell you, there's just no way that our team could produce at the level that we're at without the support of Mallory. It's pretty incredible. And if anybody would like, I'd be more than happy to share her job description and anything else that would help you, because if you're thinking of expanding production or growing a team, number one piece of advice is to get yourself a really good operator.
Yeah, I mean, a good operator is absolutely huge. Somebody you could trust. Brian, what about you?
The question was about delegation. Is that what we're talking about?
Correct.
All right. So I don't have an admin. For 17 years, the majority of the time, I have not had anybody in the operations position. I've usually delegated different tasks to different vendors so I can leverage that per transaction as much as possible. So the idea was not to have anybody on full time. And I've coached and trained a lot of agents who have brought admins on that have decimated people's businesses by getting the wrong admin. I mean, a good admin is worth their weight in gold. I mean, literally. But most of my career, I have not had an admin. I just put everything into a process, into a system, systematized as much as possible, had vendors. How do I delegate right now? It's real simple. It's what do I not want to do? That's how I delegate. If I don't want to do something that needs to be done, I'm going to try to figure out somebody who can take care of that. Now, that's not always been my mindset on that. That's just probably more lately than anything else. So delegation for me, it's really more of a matter if I'm not going to do it, can I delegate it to somebody else? And at some point, am I going to admit I'm just not going to do it at all too, because I have so many different projects that I'm working on. Delegation is crucial in making sure that you can trust those people to actually accomplish those tasks. So I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, I love that. I love the doing what you don't want to do. I think that's a big issue too for struggling agents is they want to get away from what they don't want to do, but they don't have the money to get that person either. Michelle, any thoughts?
I am really, really hands-on in all aspects of my business. I do about 15 million a year, maybe 35 to 40 transactions. And I can handle it. I do not have an admin. I do everything start to finish. What lately I've been delegating out a lot of the buyers. I work with my husband, so I've been having him take a lot of the leads that come in, fielding them over the phone, taking out the buyers. I've gravitated more towards handling all my listings. A lot of my sellers are out of the state and out of the country. So I deal with a lot of vacant oceanfront condos. I'm a really creative person, so I really enjoy doing the staging and the marketing, writing up the MLS listings, being there for the photographer. I like all that, so I kind of make each of my listings like my baby. I find I've debated whether or not to get somebody to take care of my sky slope, but I'm a list maker and I like to make my lists on paper and cross things off. So sky slope and vacuuming is very therapeutic for me. Those are like my two, oh, look at that, everything's done. And or unless I really, really start getting overwhelmed and it's more than I can handle, maybe then I'll feel better delegating it out, but I just don't do it. I can't find anyone that I trust enough. And I even accompany all my showings just because I don't like people going in and out of my properties without my being there. So I'm a little OCD and I don't know, like to do it myself.
No, nothing wrong with that. If it works and you stay happy, that's the biggest part, I'd say. All right. Now, so what's your... I don't like that one. What's your secret sauce? We'll go with that one. Michelle?
I don't think there is. I don't even like that expression. There isn't any big secret. I think it's finding something about yourself that you can relate to every person you come in contact with. So what I'm saying is when I go on listing presentations, I hardly spend any time talking about the property. I don't sit down with a 45-minute listing presentation. It's boring and everybody has a variation of the same. We're not reinventing the wheel. I form a connection, and they just feel that I'm someone they can count on, I'm someone they can trust. And I think that the secret is every single one of you in that audience. You are all the secret. There's something about each one of you that sets you apart, that makes you different, and that's what people are going to gravitate to, not all the other BS that we might say we do. They're gonna just like you. So you're the secret. That's what it comes down to. That's what I believe.
Great. Brian, what's your secret sauce?
Oh boy, I don't even know if I use my secret sauce. I was taught years ago that in life, really, and in business, and especially in real estate, this is where it's come up. There's a level of personal growth to this too. 3 things that you need to have in your life. The first thing is something to do that you love. So I hope that you're finding something in real estate that you really enjoy doing, which aspect of real estate, whether it's helping buyers, sellers, renters, whatever it is that you really enjoy. I think that's the first key, to find something that you enjoy within real estate. That's why when we talk about delegation, it's like, I need to find somebody who kind of hands stuff to that I just don't want to do. So find something you enjoy within real estate. It's the first thing. The second thing is have something to look forward to. Okay. And that can be personal. That can be just taking a vacation to get yourself away from real estate and disconnect, so you can really take a look at your business, your business from an outside perspective, sitting on a beach somewhere, far away, that, when you come back to your business, you see it from a whole different perspective, and you see the growth opportunities. Usually when I go on vacation, there's mistakes made or something of that nature. But that's a huge opportunity to change your business. And the third thing is, well, have someone to love. So the secret sauce really comes down to 3 things. Have something to do that you love, have something to look forward to, like a vacation, something of that nature, and have someone to love. And that's kind of, I'm trying to wrap up the secret sauce into three things. How's that sound?
I like it. Bree, do you want to try to follow up that?
I'm trying. I'm doing my best to try that.
That's pretty, Brian. I don't think I can expand that too much. That's pretty awesome. I was going to talk more about like how important it is to get clear on why you're in the business and why you do what you do. And that, I believe, is the secret sauce, and that is why we work so hard. So on our team, we had to get really clear on what our core values are. So we understood why we work so hard and why we do what we do. And we know that if we follow those core values in every decision that we make, it's all going to be okay. So our core values on our team are education, relationships, and wealth building. And that's how we guide our business and our clients, as well as our own hearts. There you go.
I like it. So this isn't going to go list. I'm going to go off kind of what you guys want to hear on this one. So what's your process like, or what would you recommend a process be like for somebody to really dig down and find their why, or their core values, the things that will drive them to succeed even better? Anybody too.
I'll jump in. That's okay.
I'm not going to go in order at this point.
If you want to dig down, if anybody here really wants to dig down and really figure out what you want to do with yourself, it could be within real estate, within life. I know a lot of people that get into real estate and they're not, they more want to get out of where they were before and don't really know everything about real estate. That's just something that's come up for me in coaching and training stuff, but I'm not here to talk about that. If I had to offer and recommend one book to answer that question, I would recommend the book The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. And the subtitle is How to Get From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. And that's personal, that's professional growth. They're all combined in that book. And they got some great workbooks that go along with that too, and other trainings that just the book alone, I think it's like 23 hours on Audible. It's a long book. It's 67 principles. And it's not all his material. He's compiled this material over years and decades. And it's the success principles. I wish I would have had that material when I first got into real estate. I think that would have changed the direction for me. But that book is The Success Principles by Jack Canfield, and you want the anniversary edition. It's how to get from where you are to where you want to be. And I think in my past few years, I've probably given out at least 300 copies of that book to people because I just believe in those things. So hope that was helpful.
Yeah, I love it. All right. So Corona hit. A lot of people, I know business took off for a lot, but I think there's a lot of people who, wanted to wait it out too to see what happened, stay indoors. And now their business is falling behind. What do you do if your business was to fall behind to get you back on track?
I can take that one. I'm very fortunate in that my business has not fallen behind because of Corona. But I know one thing, that the way to provide massive value to your clients and to your sphere of influence is to share information and to follow up and just simply check on people. You don't have to talk about real estate, but calling and building that relationship and being a real human. That's a great way to, get yourself back into massive action. Yes, they're going to bring up real estate, I'm sure, but that's not your job to bring it up first. So if you're feeling like you're in a slump, just start connecting with people in your database. My advice to get jump started again.
Yeah, I agree with that, Bree. My business actually did feel a significant slowdown with Corona. Like I said, I sell secondary homes to people. It's not a need, it's a want. Most of my business is people who live in up north, and Canada. And when Corona hit, everybody had to leave. They had to go back to their states, and all the Canadians had to be home and out of the country. So that definitely slowed down my buyers. I specialize in oceanfront condos, and all of my condos, they made, even though in Florida, real estate agents were deemed essential, all of the condos decided that they're not allowing showings. So I couldn't even show my listings for about 6 weeks. So I definitely I felt that, and people who were under contract were looking for ways to get out of them. Not just for me, but across the board, people who had $800,000-900,000 condos under contract, now they're scared, so they were trying to get out of them and cancel that. But I just went back to my database and followed up, and the listings started coming in, so I started working with that rather than selling anything, just prepping for when this passes and we can get people back into the state. So going back to your database and reaching out, I think, was what I did and what I'm still doing.
I wish I was in Bree's situation. My business is in Illinois, and Illinois is one of the most exited states in the country. So I've had a massive decrease in the buyer's side. I think we did 80% listings last year. A real challenge. And when the good are not doing good anymore, it's always going back to the basics, not taking an advanced course, going back to the basics. And I've had the privilege and the honor to speaking to 23 different states over the past month or so at the state broker meetings and at their trainings. And I learned so much about, the agents in different states and what they're struggling with. And really what it comes down to, and I want to thank all the managing broker and the designated managing brokers that gave me that opportunity to share information of what to do in this time. And it's so crucial to keep moving forward. There's always people that are in need to buy and sell a house, and we are so fortunate to be in a profession that everybody needs to live somewhere. Whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market, we can help them. And that's one of the reasons I got into real estate. It wasn't the original reason, let me tell you. But one of the reasons I got into it is because I wasn't afraid that the industry was going to go away. Now, I do think we need to protect our industry from outside influences that, get rid of real estate agents. But it's going back to basics. You doing the work. There was people in different states that were so bored at a period of time, they were just painting the walls in their house. And they need money, and they need to survive. And you need to make, everybody needs to be making their contacts, getting in front of people, having real estate conversations. And if the conversations go sideways, which they have lately, what are we getting? Pandemics, protests, looting, vandalism. I had tear gas here out in Las Vegas on my block with some looting. Kind of scary. I wasn't able to do my Icon series presentation. It's getting rescheduled next week because I couldn't get internet connection. I mean, it's just some scary times here because the bandwidth was used for so many other things with law enforcement. That being said, we still have to go back to basics. And when the good are not doing good, go back to basics. Make sure you're making your contacts, having your real estate conversations. Make sure you're asking for those referrals. Look at your main source of lead generation and figure out how to get in front of those people again. So that's what I got. Thanks.
Awesome. Great job. Sorry about that. So we got Brian, who's obviously a coach here, if you guys don't know. Do you guys all have your own coaches, though?
Yes, I do. I have had a business coach for the last, I'd say 8 years or so. And that is one way to give yourself massive accountability. And some of my peers are competitive, think it's crazy that I spend so much money on coaching, but I mean, it's important, and it's important to submerge yourself in new ideas and to have somebody that can fly 30,000 feet above your business and look in and say, hey, why are you doing it that way? Let's think about a different strategy. So if you don't have a coach, it's something that I highly recommend. And I'll tell you, there's no way that I could have built my team and had all 4 of us on our sales team consistently in the top 10 in our market. There's no way if I didn't have a coach.
What about you, Brian? Do you have a coach?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm always looking, and when it comes to coaching for me, I'm looking for specific coaches that can help me with certain challenges that I'm having, very unique specialties that I'm, I don't just have one person, I have several people that I turn to for coaching, for mentor, for guidance. And, with the new challenges that I come across, I'm looking for new resources to help too. So it's absolutely, coaching is absolutely, and training, because there's 2 different things. Okay, coaching and training are different, but coaching and training for me absolutely changed my career in ways I never could have imagined, because that information that I received, specifically tailored for me and what I was looking for, was just mind-blowing. And it's not for me, it's not always an immediate process for coaching. It's like sometimes it takes a while for me to be a little stubborn. Sorry about that. The dog's getting a little excited. It's sometimes I have to be in it for a while to be receptive to even hearing it. So sometimes I know what's best for me and I won't take the action, but I'll get into the program, and then maybe it's 6 months later, I actually do it. And I think that's what's important, to be bought into it. So let me share.
Michelle?
Yes, actually, just recently I decided to start working with a coach because I wanted to do other projects that were real estate related. Put together a 4-week training course on selling condos and doing a bunch of those type of projects, and I needed some guidance on how to do that. But prior to that, I didn't have one. I just kind of figured it all out on my own, and how, I was going to run my business and grow it. And it all just kind of worked out. I attribute my success to finding a niche, and honing in and being specialized in one location and knowing everything there is to know about my specific farm area, rather than running all over the place, driving people 45 minutes here, going down here. And I mean, I literally work like a 4-mile island for the most part. So that really helped. And I guess, I fell into that, and I'm really lucky. But recently, with the bigger projects I'm trying to do, yes, a coach, I needed to seek someone out for some guidance.
Awesome. So Michelle, you have a very niche market, um, which obviously has been huge for your success. In general, do you think that's a necessity, or do you like is that just what worked for you the best?
I think because there are so many real estate agents out there, I think finding a niche to set yourself apart and to be able to specialize in a specific area is so important, not just in real estate, but in any industry. To be an expert at a little piece of a whole. Look, do I sell single family homes? Yeah, of course I do. And it's like I got a listing off the water, and I was like, oh crap, how do I sell a house? Like it was it was so foreign to me. Like, do I have to do open houses? Like, what's going on? Like, I just had to retrain myself because I'm so used to this niche market that I work in. But yes, I do. I think um, like I said, there's just so many real estate agents, like you need to find a way to make yourself special, set yourself apart, not just I sell real estate in the state of Florida. No, like everybody does that. Like, it's why pick you? And I actually have I'm certified, like I'm a nationally certified condo specialist. So it's like a designation, which I thought was pretty cool because I'm literally the only one in Palm Beach County.
Brian, what do you think?
What's the question specifically?
Should you have a niche, or
Should you have a niche?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. I do have a niche, and it's one of those things that has helped me grow my career very quickly, but it's also something that's held me back too, because then I got stuck in a routine of things. I got in a routine of doing a lot of townhouses. I was told to pick if I was going to do geographic farming, pick the smallest homes, the cheapest homes in the area you want to work, because those people are going to move up in life. They're going to need more space. I tried it. It didn't work well. There was too many agents, marketing there, but I did townhomes, and it was people that were more my age. I was living there, and it took off huge. Unfortunately, I was known for quite a while as just selling townhomes. I sell everything. And it can help you and it can hurt you, but it gave me such massive experience once I found that niche that I could expand into other areas with much more confidence. I was just always surprised when people's reactions were, "Oh, you just sell townhomes." I'm like, those are way harder to sell sometimes than some of the single family homes in my area. So the niche has helped and it's hurt me in different ways. But at the end of the day, I've taken advantage of the positive side of those things.
Bree, you have 4 team members, so do you guys all focus on the same niche? Do you have a niche? How does that work?
Sure. That's a good question. So for me, again, we're in a really small market with only population of 10,000. So we can't say we can only focus on townhouses or condos. So no, we don't have a niche. We do residential. That's our niche, I suppose. So that's that. We do have quite a few second homes in South County. So we do sell oceanfront second homes, residential, single families, first time home buyers, just a little bit of everything.
Okay, awesome. Let's see. I don't know. Something I get a lot, especially with the new agents, is what are you doing now? But I think a lot focus on what the top agents are doing versus focusing on what they need to really get the ball rolling. And obviously, sphere of influence is huge. Outside of sphere of influence, what would you recommend to a new agent to really get their ball going? Anybody? Right.
Oh, is that one for me? I can go
No,
again real quick.
anybody who wants to jump in. It's free for all at this point.
Okay. So, one of the things that I did in the beginning of my career that we still do today that's been really successful, you heard me say it before, is to provide massive value and build relationships. Is I went to our local hospital and I offered to help them recruit physicians. And I don't mean calling physicians. I said, when they have a potential candidate coming to town, I would offer to give a community tour. And that would bring massive value to the hospital because they don't have to take somebody out in their car and drive them around and show them Fort Stevens and the ocean if they've never seen it and all these things. But I would be willing to do that for 2 hours' time because I know that for me, as a wife and a mama, it's important to have a strong healthcare community. But also, I knew that if those docs ended up coming to Astoria, they were going to call me to help them buy a house. And that's been a really awesome lead pillar for my team. And it didn't cost me anything except for my time and a little bit of gas money. So there's one idea of something you can do as a new agent is think of a way that you can provide massive value and think of something that brings you joy. Think of something that would enhance your life. And for me, it was having a strong hospital system. So there's one idea.
I think that's a great idea and not something the majority of us would even think about. Anybody else?
I'm happy to jump in on this, but I think we're running a little bit over time here. So,
this was only supposed to be a half hour? I thought it was an hour one.
It's an hour? Oh, then I have it wrong.
Yeah.
Thank God. Thank you.
An hour.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would
feel
be
better
glad
now.
for a
Thinking,
half hour. Call it a day.
rushing through this. Oh my gosh. I'm just, I'm working on several time zones, so that's my bad. Sphere of influence is so crucial for everybody's business. When I first got in real estate, I was just getting referrals from people and doing open houses. Okay. And I think right now in this world that we live in, what's so important is trust more than ever. There's so many people that don't know who to trust. There's so many different social media outlets that you can hear anything and everything you want to hear if you tune in just right. I think building trust and building the relationships with whomever that may be in your real estate career is just absolutely crucial. It can be any category. It can be geographic farming. It can be a specific niche. It could be networking groups. I mean, the list goes on and on. But whatever you do, please maintain those relationships. And the use of video nowadays is even more and more crucial to build trust. So whichever idea that you are going to go with outside of just, let's say, a sphere of influence for, let's say, a newer agent, really build that trust with video. And there's so many opportunities with businesses nowadays to go interview small businesses. Get them on video. You just do a selfie stick with them, do a short couple-minute video, having them explain their business, you sharing that with everybody. You can connect and become that neighborhood or area specialist. And all you're doing just helping to promote people. Hey, I just want to promote your business. If there's anything I do to help you, please let me know. And just go to business and business. See if they want to do a quick video and promote their business. And you'll find people reaching out to you and asking you questions about everything. And then it's an opportunity to have a real estate conversation with them to see if you can help them in that area too. So there's some massive opportunities for everybody, not just newer agents, to capitalize on with what's going on right now in this world is to build trust. And by doing that through video, and you can do that with everybody. So that was helpful too.
So I'm a big fan of video. Are you guys mostly focusing on video? Like, is there a marketing technique that you have been pushing hard right now? Is it video? Is it something else?
Well, I'll just continue that with the video. You can use it in so many different ways. And I'm just encourage people just to use video communication, whether it's on Zoom or Skype or Google Hangouts or Duo or the WhatsApp, whatever it is, just get comfortable using video in the first place. But you can use video. I'm not talking about do a professionally done video that's all kinds of touched up and it costs you $1,000 to produce a 2-minute video. I'm not talking about that. Sometimes it could be like you go to a neighborhood or a condominium complex or a subdivision, And you go through the neighborhood and you show the type of homes and you explain what's going on and give a little history of it if you know that. And then you post that out there. And if you post in the right places, with, let's say YouTube with the right hashtags, people may come back to you 2 years later and say, hey, can you help me find a, home in this area? Because you put stuff out there. And that could be just advertisements for something. I just did a seller webinar this week on video. Never done one of those before. It was fantastic. A lot of past clients showed up to that and was able to share that information of what's going on in the market. Just another way I can get in front of people with the use of video. Now, I do a lot of video every day and a lot of video communication. And I need to do more video specifically for prospecting purposes, and that's what I'm working on. And I send it out through different emails to databases that I have. I post it on social media. I post it on YouTube. I'm not perfect with this. I'm really not. I mean, I have a workplace group called Icon Agent Brian Ernst Free Trainings, and I just post my videos. It's a Zoom call. I don't edit it. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that happen on these calls. I'm just trying to put it out there. It's not perfect, but it's sharing that communication with people. It's real. It's genuine. I don't wear any makeup. I just want to let you know I don't wear any makeup on these videos. So, be yourself. And anything worth doing in life is worth doing poorly until you can get it down pat. That's the Zig Ziglar quote, and that's what I'm doing with video.
Great. When you guys started out, I like this one. Were you a full-time agent off the rip? Were you a part-time agent with another job? How did you work it, and how did you get really moving?
It's Michelle talking. I came into real estate as a full-time agent, and we had relocated from Canada down to South Florida. I was a stay-at-home mom prior to getting my real estate license in Florida. We actually had my husband had lost his business, so we had no income coming in, and my in-laws let us stay at their condo on Singer Island. And I said to my husband, just give me a year, just 1 year to get my real estate license and see if I can make this work. And he very reluctantly, because he didn't want to leave his mama, he agreed, and we moved from Canada to Florida. But I came in it like just, balls out, no going back, and I had 1 year or I was moving back in with my mother-in-law. We had no money. I had no sphere of influence. I had no friends. Nobody was giving me referrals. So I ended up just, getting on a team, to learn the business, because once you get your real estate license, you really don't know what to do. And learning how, contracts work and learning as much as I could. And I really started in the rental market. Like I said, I fell into the condo market, but I started doing rentals that nobody else wanted to do. So they gave them to me. They happened to be on the island, and I did seasonal and annual. And then, one of those turned into, oh, well, we like it here now. We want to buy. And and people got to know me. They saw my face. I made myself known. I also live in the farm area that I work, so I was always around. But yeah, I mean, I came in with no plan B, no backup plan. It was just like, do or die pretty much. So but I think it was good because, what more motivation than you need than possibly moving in with your mother-in-law again. So that kept me going.
Michelle, that's a great story. That's a perfect why, right? that was your why. Well, I'll follow up by saying that I didn't have that as my why, but I also started as a full-time agent as well. My husband does have a government job, so I guess that's the backup. I was not a part-time agent, full-time from the get-go. Prior to real estate, and I started 15 years ago, I was the executive director for the Downtown Association in Seaside. So I used that as my sphere of influence, and that catapulted me to where I'm at today.
Brian?
I jumped into real estate full time. I wanted to get out of a job that I was in before, and oh man, I I always highly recommend that if anybody's getting into real estate to do it full time. Not everybody likes that advice that I give to people, but just statistically speaking, you have the best shot of learning if you're going to do the full time. And yeah, being on a team, Michelle, that's great. I wish I would have had the opportunity to be on a team first getting into real estate. I knew enough about sales to be pretty good. I mean, I wasn't great in the first part of my career up until the housing recession. I was good enough, and I survived, but I really didn't get to the level that I wanted to because I don't know. I just didn't have those opportunities in the same way. So I'd encourage everybody to be in full-time real estate and make sure you have enough money to survive it too. I always tell people you need to have like 12 months of income saved up. You never know how long it's going to take if you add up how much time it takes to actually do a listing from start to scratch. Let's just say with an average market time of 90 days, it's a while before you get paid. And in some cases, if you started that today, you wouldn't get paid till next year. So I was full-time. I got into real estate probably for not the most brilliant of reasons. And I didn't know how to sell. I just didn't know anything about houses. Luckily, I did it full-time. I racked up a lot of debt very quickly. But when I figured out the basics of it, I was able to pay that debt down super, super quick. So, thanks.
Great. Now, so Icon, you generally sell a decent amount of homes. What do you do to stop from burning out, or if you do burn out, get over the burnout?
Have lots of drinks. Oh, sorry. Kevin,
no, go ahead. That was good. That was a good start. That was a really good start. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go.
No, that was a good start. Keep going with that. I want to hear this. Go ahead.
No,
Michelle.
that was the start and the finish. Have lots of drinks. Period. Done. No, I'm out. Go.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll keep going with that. I don't know if I'd recommend that as much. I think when I went into the housing recession in 2008, my market stopped. I mean, I was sitting on 30 listings with 90-day contracts, and 30 listings, 90-day contracts each, and I couldn't get a showing. This was December of 2007. By February of 2008, I was in rehab. So I can joke about it to a certain degree, but yeah, I can joke about it now. But it was painful. I went 11 weeks of rehab in 2008. It was my coping mechanism, and I wouldn't recommend that for everybody, that route. Now, if you do moderately, well, to each your own. But I'm burned out on a regular basis. I am. I burn myself out. Sometimes I feel like I dump gas all over myself each day, light myself on fire until I, burn myself out. Okay, that's how I feel. And this pandemic is a perfect example of what I've done. The first 30 days of the pandemic, I was banging my head against the wall. I'm in Las Vegas. I was here to do live events for coaching and training. Everything became illegal or stopped or nobody was interested. And I'm just banging my head against the wall. I'm in a one-bedroom apartment overlooking McCarran Airport. I'm a block from the MGM. I'm like, what the heck did I do out here? I've never left my business for more than 7 days in 17 years. And I've been out here for 4.5 months. So the first 30 days, I had a headache because I was just banging my head against the wall. And then I made a conscious decision, okay, that I said, can I survive this, financially? Sure, I can survive this. Not the way I want to, but I could survive it. The mindfulness aspect, I'm not in danger of anything like this. Like, I'm not gonna get hurt. Now that changed more recently, but the mindfulness aspect said, what can I do? And I said, I would like to help others, because if I'm not going to succeed in the way that I want to succeed when I'm burnt out and I'm exhausted and things are not going my way, I'm going to help some other people. So I offered, and I reached out to state brokers to see if I could help them. And they said, well, what can you offer? I said, what do you need? Some people, knew what I could offer. Some people didn't. I just said, this is what I teach. I teach this in, I'm teaching the ICON series for EXP University. I do what I can do. And that was really overwhelming too. I was, that took up so much time. And I'm so grateful to have that opportunity, because I said the next 30 days, if I don't make a dime, if I lose money, you know what I'm going to do? I want to help somebody else. And in helping other people, that helped me with burnout. That's what helped me, is to help other people keep going. And I know what to do sometimes. I just I can't see it or I don't feel it myself. But when I see it in somebody else, that's when I see it in myself so much more, that I can help and be of service to somebody else. And by the way, teaching something, you got like a 90 to 95% retention of the information when you teach it versus just attending a class. So I encourage people to share, to reach out, to be of service to others. And that has really helped me with my burnout.
Bree, do you want to add anything?
Well, I feel like kind of a broken record. I mean, I'll say that for me, I'm sort of out of that cycle of burnout because of the systems that I've put in place with my team and the boundaries that I've set. So right now I'm working Monday through Friday from 8 to 5, evenings and weekends off. And I've been able to do that because of the team that's in place with our business manager, coordinator, and the sales team. And for the bulk of my team is also working those same hours because we have the support. So it's important as the culture of our team to not get into that burnout mode, because then we can't, like Brian said, we can't serve and we can't deliver the value to our clients when we're burnt out. So those are the mechanisms that we've put into place, is support for ourselves.
All right, so we're winding down here. We got 13 minutes left. I'm only going to ask 2 more questions. One, I like keeping things real, and as where we are, a lot of agents don't see the mistakes that we have. I would like you guys to share some mistakes that have happened, just to kind of say, hey, listen, we're not perfect, and it's not a perfect world, but you got to keep going. Anybody have anything good they'd like to share about a mistake?
I don't know if it was a mistake or I had I guess it was a listing presentation because I was doing it over the phone. And the one thing about me is that I'm extremely confident, almost overly confident, because I'll really have no clue what I'm doing some of the times, but you would never be able to tell it. Which is a good thing, just go. I'll figure it out later. Everything's, you can figure it out after the fact, just, fake it like you know it. But I was on the phone. These people, I didn't know, it was just a call that came in about possibly selling their home. And I did the comps, we were talking, and I didn't want to overpromise what I could sell their house for. And I guess I didn't come off as confident in the list price as I should. And it was the reason I didn't get the listing. And because I followed up and they picked somebody else. And I was shocked, and I said, can you tell me why? And he said, it was so close. And we really, really, really liked everything you had to say, but you just weren't as sure on the list price as the other agent. He felt more confident about it. And I get that. I can appreciate that. And I made a note of that, but that was a mistake. I lost a little bit of confidence, and I kind of, let my guard down about that. So yeah, that would be my latest mistake.
Anyone else?
Oh, Bree, would you like to go?
Sure. I was just going to say mistakes in relations to hiring and not being clear on job descriptions and cultural commitments. And if you don't fire fast, it can really hurt the culture of the team. So held in that a couple of times over the last couple of years, and the recovery is not fun. It's doable, but it's not fun. So yeah, having a strong job description definitely helps, and I've learned from that.
Amen to that one. Yeah, put me down to that category. My first response, Jason, when you asked this question is, do you have a checklist for mistakes? Because I've probably gone through most of the mistakes, and I probably did it, in a fairly spectacular way of making mistakes too. I mean, I generally, when I go do a mistake, I do it full blown. So that's how I learn. And I learn very well on those types of things, and I don't get involved in the situations that would cause me to get in those mistakes again. But I can go through my career. There's so many. I could beat myself up all day long on the mistakes that I've made. But on the other side of that is they all presented new opportunities. So when I made one of the biggest mistakes in my career, I was actually with a different company. I spent 14 years with Remax. I spent 10 months with Keller Williams, and I came to EXP. And I made some mistakes with Keller Williams and their culture, and I didn't take it that seriously. And I kind of got into it with the team leader of the market center, and we were not on the same page. We were kind of in competition with each other on certain things, and that did not work out well. But I looked at it from a different perspective, and I said, this is just forced opportunity. So I would share this with everybody here. If you get into something that you get into a big mistake, or you're way over your head, it could be an individual deal, it could be a bunch of deals, it could be just your career. All I challenge you to just change it is I made a mistake, it's a problem, and change it into it's forced opportunity. And that's what I looked at that, and I was, in hindsight, I'm so grateful I had that situation, because I needed that push. I needed that negative push to get me to the next level. And it was a brutal situation and brutally painful, and the ramifications of that are still going on. It's to the point where certain people recommended I get an attorney involved, but it was just forced opportunity. That's it. So if you make a mistake, just look at it as opportunity. If it's something on like an appointment, ask for feedback, because that's your new opportunity. Always, feedback is the breakfast of champions. Now, I don't always want to hear feedback all day long, but certain times of days, maybe schedule when you want to hear feedback, and then hear it at that time.
Awesome. So, final question. Any last words of advice?
I would say don't give up. Be as relentless as my children. Stick with it. Take the setbacks. I wholeheartedly believe in what Brian just said, because I will find when things are just not going my way and I'm forcing it and forcing it and forcing it, the universe is just saying, not meant to be, not meant to be, not meant to be. And it is, it's like a forced opportunity to push you when you're not going to make that move or make that decision, or it's like the universe is trying to tell you something, and then it gets to the point where it backs you so far against the wall you have to make the choice. One of the brokerages that I had left, they treated me so poorly. It was awful. And I just had this sparkle in my eye, like I so wanted to be there and fit their mold and be that agent, and they made it so impossible for me to be there that I left, and I never would have left, but it was forced. And looking back, it was the best thing I ever did, but I would not have done it unless it was, like Brian said, a forced opportunity, and it was a blessing in disguise. The same way we had to relocate from Canada, it was a forced opportunity. We literally had nowhere to live, nothing to do, no money, forced opportunity, had to make a new game plan. We would never have done that otherwise. So it is a blessing in disguise. You just have to hang in there to find out, what it is when you get to the other side.
That's awesome. That's perfect. Anybody want to chime in?
Bree?
Leave it on a high note. That was great, Michelle.
Yeah, I like that. I think that was perfect. All right.
I just want to throw one more thing in here, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Jason, I appreciate you moderating today. I really do. It's a pleasure being on the stage with you, Jason, Bree, Michelle. It's an honor to be here. And if I could leave any parting words or advice to anybody here, is to get involved. Get involved. Jim Rohn is quoted by saying, "You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Who are those people that you're spending time with? Are they doing what you want to be doing? Are they selling the type of homes, doing the production level? Whatever you're looking for. And EXP is such an incredible opportunity if you take it as that opportunity. Workplace is absolutely incredible for connecting. If I can help anybody, if I can answer any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Workplace. And I'm sure, Jason, Bree, and Michelle, I'm going to speak for them. I'm sure they have no problem with this too, because Workplace is just workplace chat. Such a great place to connect. If I can answer any questions, if I can point you in the right direction, but my advice is get involved. And that involvement creates so many more opportunities for yourself, and like you'd never see before. So that's what I've got. So thanks, Jason. Thanks, Bree. Thanks, Michelle, for letting me stand on stage with you guys here today.
May I comment before they depart?
Yeah, go for it.
Sure. I just this is my first time using it, so I just want to make sure I'm heard clearly. Can you hear me clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Awesome. Brian, Michelle, Bree, I do just want to thank you for being so real, for having a sense of humor, for sharing your business and your lives. I felt like all of you touched something in me and told me something that I needed to hear. And I did just want to let you all know that I actually wrote this down because it's exactly how I felt. I said, your words will send a ripple effect of positivity through the universe. And as the earth rotates, so will the shock waves of good karma that will come back in your directions and into your lives. So I just want to thank you for everything you guys said today.
Thanks, Kyle.
Very
Thank you,
powerful
Kyle.
words
That's very
there.
kind. Take that.
Of course.
All right, you guys have a good day and go sell some homes.
Sounds good.
Powers in action. Great job, Icons.